Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Isn't it funny how some cards you can look up and you see it and then you trace it back and find out it's been around decades. This card has been around a long time, a lot of different names, a cube box card. So I've heard it called pretty much the triple cube. So I'm going to call it the triple cube box. It lays flat and then fits into, if I can pick it up, fits into an A2 sized envelope and just has this really cute design to it, the 3 cubes. And I made mine into a gift card holder because I just temporarily put some adhesive on here so your recipient can take that gift card off of there. So, and you can write your message right here on the back. So I'm going to show you one pretty similar to this one, but with some different stamps and sentiments from this awesome Nothing's Better Than bundle. Now this Nothing's Better Than bundle is in the annual catalog. It was Connie Stewart's $1 Million set. It is so adorable. I love all the coffee, cookies, cocktails, chocolate, and all these really funny sayings in here. And it comes with the Love You More Than dies, coffee, cocktails, chocolate, love you more than, and also cookies. Now I don't have my cookies in here because I don't want to lose that little eye that I have in there, so I still have it in there. I also on this stamp set used the Hippo and Friends dies, and actually that was another $1 Million set with Robin Cardon. And so here we are using it up here for your label. So let me tell you, this card looks like a lot of work, but it's very simple to make. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this card. You just have to do a little bit of thinking on it. So the first thing you're going to do, my friend Linda Heller had told me that one of the easiest ways to do this is to make your dimension 8.5 by 8.5. Some of these box cards that I've seen have a little bit more height to them, and it just gives you another ½ inch, but it's so much easier when you just think of using a square as 8.5. So what we're gonna do is take any of these sides here. We're gonna open up our arm on our trimmer, and we're going to take any of the sides because they're all the same, and we are gonna first score at 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, and then 4, and then 6, and then when we go over to 8, of course, since it's 8.5, we're going to have one little section left over that is the tab that we're going to put our boxes together, and that's a ½ inch. Now we're just going to turn so that this little tab is up here at the top, and we're going to cut now. We're going to be using the dart cutting blade, and we're going to 2, and another 2 inches. I'm sorry, I was thinking 2 and 4. You want to do 2 2-inch sections. So you've got 2 2-inch sections, and then you're going to go over and make this section 4 inches by cutting off that last ½ inch. And on this card, we're not actually going to be using that for anything. So now we end up with 2 2-inch widths and 1 4-inch width. And what we're going to do, by the magic of video, is we're going to put tear and tape on these little sections, these little ½ inch sections here, so that we can put our box together. Now, before we end up doing that though, well, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to fold back these sections here. I'm going to grab my paper piercer, and I'm going to take off this protective covering off of my tear tape. And I find it easiest not to make the box this, like holding it and pushing it together, but if you lay it flat, you have a better success of getting it nice and flat. So there is our box, and then we can take our bone folder and we can just crease on each of our folds, giving it a nice crisp crease. Okay, looks like I got a little bit of the tear and tape on there. Okay, so that is our tall box here. This is the box that's going to be back here in the back. Now we're going to make the 2 cubes that will be here on the front section. kind of hard to show you how this card looks. So we're going to fold back that tab again, and we're going to just pull off that protective coating, and we're going to fold it there in the middle so that it's going flat. And then we're putting our box together. Do a little bit of creasing with our bone folder on each of those scored areas. So we've got one of our boxes, and now we're going to make our third box the same way, taking off the protective coating, and then we're going to fold it right there in the middle, bring it down, just crease our folded lines, score lines, and we've got our 3 cubes. Okay, now that was the easy part. Now we just have to do a little bit of thinking about putting our cute little plaid. I'm using the plaid tidings paper. Oh, it's gorgeous paper with all those beautiful plaids in there. I use this black and white plaid here, but you've got all these different colors. Look at that, festive fall colors, beautiful blues, almost every color in the Stampin' Up! Rainbow. Oh, it's a pretty Christmas and Halloween fall. So I, as you can see, cut out 8 stitched squares. It's the second one down from the largest and the second one up from the smallest. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, down. So it's the not the biggest, but the next one down from the largest. Okay, so I just put them right there on all these little pieces, but you need to think about where those are going to be. There is a raw edge here. Black is very forgiving, as we women all know, getting on those black pants and those black outfits. Well, black cardstock's really forgiving too, because you don't really see it. So if you mess up, it's not going to be such a big deal. But you want to think about how you're putting this box together. I like to try to keep my raw edge where you're not going to see it. So here's my raw edge. So I'm putting it down towards myself here, and I'm going to do the same way. There you go. Okay. Oh, they almost look like they were a different size. So we've got the raw edge down here. I'm going to set those aside, and then I want to have this raw edge. See, it's really hard to find. I want to have this raw edge facing towards me. I don't know what is on here. I think, oh, there we go. I got a little piece of adhesive stuck in that fold there. Okay, so I want this rough edge because that's the part that your recipient won't be seeing this way. So if you think of it this way, this is going to be the way your card folds flat here, if we're looking at it this way. And then we're going to put these boxes on here like so. But we want to be able to put our plaid in the inside of here. As you can see, I put some plaid on the inside of there. So before we put that in, it's a little easier to stick the plaid in now instead of when we have it together and we have to do it from both sides. Okay, so I'm going to take, and I have to tell you, I made this card before and really messed it up. So I have 2 of these that I kind of tore apart and have some markings on them. So I'm actually going to use those because they're hidden up on the top. So I'm going to pick 2 of these to put down into here. Now it's going to be nice and easy. Now if you're putting it together before you put your box together, you could lay that out flat, like before you put it together, and you could mark, you know, which ones you're gonna have on the inside with, like, you know, with your designer paper. Since I forgot to tell you to do that, we're just gonna pop it in there like that. So normally you would have another piece of plaid pattern on the back of this, but because I had to tear apart my other card, I had to cut it apart. So I'm just putting that plaid. It just gives an added touch. You don't have to put the plaid in the inside, but I just think it gave just a fun look to it. And so we're just going to pop that in. Those stitched squares look great, and they're a perfect size to go on a 2-inch square here on the box. So those are going to be the 2 that are on this back portion of the card. Okay, so that's going to be like that. As you can see, it's going to be like that. So let's just go ahead and, should we just adhere it? Let's go ahead and adhere it now. So when you're putting this card together, when you think about your plaid being on there, you're going to want to have two blank ones here because this one is the front of your card and you're going to have the plaid showing there. So we know that. So let's just put some glue on here so we know that. And then we're going to take two more of our plaid squares and we're going to glue those. And like I said, black is so forgiving. So if you kind of mess it up, not mess it up, but if you put them on the wrong side, it's not gonna be a major problem on here. You know how sometimes we just like to be really detailed and other times we just throw something together. So there we go. So now that is going to be how we see this card. That's that front part. Okay, and then it folds closed this way. So now we're going to need to put some plaid. No, we're actually going to put a saying right here. The plaid's going to be on the front of this one, but we're going to put a saying on here. So we can go ahead, or maybe, actually I'm trying to decide when I do this if I want to have, no, I want to have the plaid actually. See, it just goes to show that I decided to change up my mind. So is that going to work? Let's see. This has to be here. And this one has to show in here. So no, I guess I can't change my mind. I'm going to do the plaid that way. Okay, so we're going to now put this against the bottom of here. Okay, there we go. Knowing that this is going to be the front that we're going to see. And if you have to start and stop the video a couple times just to make sure you're getting the right orientation, I don't blame you. I wish I could actually do that with my own video when I'm doing it. So there we go. We have, the card should look like this when you're putting your blank part because this is going to be sitting down and you can see the plaid on the inside. So I'm going to be putting some fun sentiments here. So we're going to do that in just a moment. Oh, do you know what? Actually, I put these, dun, 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 dun. These actually go, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. 1, 2. Oh, you know what? Actually, I won't have to. I actually wanted to put, oop, I messed this up. But we're still doing the same thing. No, we're not. We're going to change this up here. Okay, so now we have our plaid there and we have our plaid on the inside. You can see the way we're doing that, okay? Now we have to put plaid on these top portions, okay? So let's put those two pieces I thought were, actually we won't have to use the bad pieces. We're gonna put 2 here. There we go. We just put our plaid up here. So actually, when I redid this, I didn't need 8 squares. I only needed 6. 2, 4, 6 in the inside. Okay. So now we're going to have 2 sentiments up here. And we're going to make our cute little label that comes off the top there. Now, one thing we're going to have to do is make sure that when we're making our label there that it's going to fit into our envelope. So you could make a template, but you could also just use your envelope as a template. So what we're going to do is I am going to use the sentiments. Now, I have to tell you, when I was making this card, this has got the cutest sayings in it, but I was having a hard time getting things into the labels and the sizes that I wanted. So I just crossed my fingers and I just started cutting away at my sentiments, and I cut some of them apart. Like for instance, the today's plan, consume. There was just a little bit too much space in here for me to fit it into my stitched oval. So I just took and I cut them down. Now you'll notice there's a little flap here. I don't want to cut off, I don't want to trim these. I want to make them so that they can go right back where they're supposed to go, okay? And also this saying, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too, it also was a very long saying, and I just cut them in half, but I didn't. I left them with their little pieces so that I could easily put them back together again. So it's okay to cut your stamps because you own them. Okay, but don't do that if you're at a class. So I decided to do a saying here that says today's plan, consume coffee and cookies. Okay, and then like I said, it's going to be, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. Okay, but we're going to actually put those on these little shelves here. But we want to put this onto the top of our card. Now I'm going to pull this down so that you can, well actually I'm going to put it up here so you can see it fits in the envelope, but then we want to make sure that this label is going to fit in the envelope. So what I'm going to do is show you the way you can make this sentiment stand. See how that sentiment stands off of there? Now on this card, I had it down a little bit lower, but I wanted to see more of the plaid here. So what I did is I just took a piece of scratch, piece of black, and I just scored it down the middle. And I made sure it was at least 3 inches by like maybe 2 inches, because then I took my 1-inch circle punch and I just went with the score line right in the middle, turned it around, and did the same thing again. So now I have 2 circles that have score lines on them. And then I'm just going to fold on the score line, and I'm going to be pushing this 2 score lines together, and then I'm going to put tear and tape on there. So let's do that. So just hold them together to make them one full circle. Now see, these are the folded sides here. And then I'm going to take another piece of tear tape and see, those are the 2 circles that are there together. Okay, I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. Put a little tear and tape there, and another little piece here. There we go. Set that aside. Now we are going to take off the backing. There we go. And with this one, I'm going to put this directly on this top fold here, on the front fold, right on that fold. So you can see it's flush with the top and right along this fold, okay? And then I'm going to be able to put this label exactly at the bottom there, centered on there, and I know that it's going to fit because I had already tried before I put that circle on, and see, it fits into the card. All right, okay, so let's just take off this. Okay, and then like I said, we're just going to make this down here flush with the bottom of our circle, and then have about the same amount of plaid on the sides, and we're going to press, and now you can see we have that, it shows flat from the back. Isn't that cool? Woohoo! All right, so now we want to say, it looks like my today's plan is a little crooked. Today's plan, consume. Now when I did the coffee and cookies, I went ahead and I put some Sizzix adhesive sheets on the back of my cardstock. Then I put my die on the cardstock side, and then I can just pull off that protective coating and no messy glue. As long as I can get, oh, there we go. Now it's a little tricky because this is very permanent. So sometimes I do like using little tiny pieces of glue, but this time I wanted to make sure. So coffee, today's plan, consume. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put this on my finger for a second because I want to do the cookies, because the cookies, there we go. Because the cookies, you have to kind of put the two F's in coffee. So coffee. And now we can put the cookies on. And here we go. And take off the protective coating off of there. And we can put the cookies right along the bottom of the label. Just kind of get it straight before I press it. And then, like I said, I left the eye in here because I lost it one other time. So I'll put that die over here, and then I will play around with this little eye. Get that protective coating off. There you go. Perfect. Put our eye on our cookies. There we go. And then the ampersand comes from the playful alphabet dies. Coffee and cookies. So today's plan, consume coffee and cookies. And then we want to finish off the sentiment, and we're going to put it on these little shelves here. And it says, and I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be also. So let's put some glue on there. Ooh, there we go. And I'm pretty sure tomorrow will be too. Tomorrow's plan will be to eat coffee, or eat cookies and drink coffee, especially with these holidays coming up. So you've got your little saying here. Now we need something fun here on this plaid right here. And so what I did is I die cut. Let me get my little scissors here. I kind of messed up. I was going to put this here, but I like the plaid there. So you know what we're going to do? We are just going to pop my cookie off of there, okay? Because I wanted to bring some more crumb cake into the picture. So my dimensionals are over here. Where did they go? Okay, here we go. Here's my dimensionals. I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on my cookie and stick that cookie on the plaid, and then that is going to pop off now. That's going to pop really fun off of that plaid, and it carries the crumb cake down here. You know, this whole farmhouse theme and the plaids and all that. Now, of course, I'm doing some surgery here for you guys because I messed up, but I'm very good at fixing mistakes since I make so many. So there we go. We have our coffee cup. So we have the crumb cake carried down to here in the black and white. So you've got a cute little cube box. You've got some fun. You can also put a little sentiment in here. Now I couldn't figure out one with all of this. I could have probably put the because adulting is hard. Maybe I'll do that before I get this posted on my blog for you guys. But this is a really cute card. I love the you know, farmhouse theme with the plaid and the black and white and crumb cake. So there we've got 2 fun cards here. A day without coffee and chocolate is like, just kidding, I have no idea. On this one I did my coffee cup and my chocolate and crumb cake to carry that down. And I also have the, oh, I know what, I do need these 2 little guys here. They go on the bottom of the card, so I should have saved those. So we're going to pop those in. I almost forgot that. Oh gosh. Hope nobody sees my mistake there. I was thinking when I was putting this together, why do I have 8 of them? Now, like I said, normally this one has a booger on it, so I probably would have put that behind the label. But because this was my last piece of black and white plaid, we are just going to go with it. And see how it's a little more precarious putting these in, but maybe this was the plan to show you how to fix this or put it together after the fact. But isn't that cool? That's why you need 8, because you have them on the inside and the outside. So you have them on the you have them right there on the inside and the outside, and you've got these cute little sayings. So remember, just an 8.5 sheet of paper, and then you just score it at 2, 4, 6, 8, and then you have the 1/2 inch section that's left over. Whenever you do that, let's just look at it here this way. It was 8.5 by 8.5, and we scored it 2, 4, 6, 8, and we had this left over here, and then we turned it in our paper trimmer, and we cut 2 2-inch widths, and that left us with a 4.5, and we cut off a 1/2, and this ends up with 4. So you've got a 4, 2, and 2, and then you put together the boxes. You just simply use the stitched square, and you don't even have to measure that, and you've got 2 cute cards with that. So many different things you can do. Now, on the back here, I just did a, this is 4 inches, so that would make this 3 3/4, and this was 2 inches, so this is 1 3/4. So you just have a message there, and I put some temporary adhesive on the back of a gift card and put it there. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com. You can text me a photo if you end up making one of these cards. 724-323-2296. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.